Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all Week 6 of the Valhalla League. In this battle we face Mega Superior 12, coach of the Independence Infernapes. Now this team is actually one of the more hard teams to face, in all honesty, just because if you look at our team, she has a freaking Marshadow. Now Marshadow is a Pokemon that is uber in the Smogon format, and the reasoning behind it is very obvious. It's very powerful, it's very fast, it's relatively bulky, like it's respectably bulky for a fast offensive type of mon. And it has that signature Z move with Marshadium Z that hits literally everything really hard, at least on my draft, because let me tell you, that's one of the reasons why this battle is going to actually be really difficult, because that Marshadow alone kind of handles the majority of my team, if not entirely the entirety of my team. So it was really hard to prepare for that. I do have things that can answer Marshadow, like Crobat, because it outspeeds it, but the problem is that she kind of has switch-ins to Crobat in the forms of Ampharos or Avalugg. Hell, even the Skuntank could be a switch-in if she runs it like super defensively or something. And yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Marshadow also can carry all kinds of coverage as well, and has a boosted priority move in the form of Shadow Sneak thanks to the Technician ability that it gets, which is really ridiculous. You can also run the hidden powers with Technician boost as well, which makes it all the more overwhelming. So yeah, preparing for this team was actually really difficult, and honestly the team that I have right now, even then, is still susceptible to Marshadow, because Marshadow outspeeds Sharpedo, and it outspeeds Golurk. I'd have to like set up a rock polish in order to outspeed the dang Marshadow, and even then the chances of me being able to pull that off are very limited, because she has a Shaman as well. Like, her team really just answers the majority of mines. Like, I feel like I'm at a disadvantage compared to her, because I have things for her team, but she has a lot more things than for my team than I do for hers. So it's really ridiculous. But here we go. This is gonna be the battle. She's going to lead off with Marshadow, which is good, because I actually was hoping she'd lead with this, which is why I led with Crobat. But I didn't think she'd want to stay in nonetheless, so that's kind of why I predicted a switch here and decided to go for Super Fang. She does go into this Avalugg, which does have one of the highest of physical defenses. So after this Super Fang, I'm just going to switch out Crobat, going to Armaldo. Now, the reason why I went into this was because, for one thing, I wanted to get the rocks up. And I thought I put Stone Edge on this thing, but I actually didn't. I actually had it with Knockoff, because I wanted to take advantage of knocking off items from any mons that could be Scarf, so that any Pokemon like Crobat doesn't have to worry about any mons being Scarf, such as Marshadow or the Shaman. So here, after going for the knockout, or actually I went for Rocks and he went for Avalanche. Didn't do a whole lot to Armaldo, because I didn't outspeed it. But then I went for knockoff here to knock off the leftovers at least, and she ends up going for Roar, which is annoying. She phases me into Sharpedo, which is fine, because I don't know, I just wanted to get some chip on this thing, and I felt like attacking it right now would be pretty ideal. Plus, I kind of had a feeling she didn't have anything other than Avalanche and Rapid Spin for my Sharpedo, because she went for Recover earlier, and then also she went for Roar, so I didn't think she'd have anything else for my Sharpedo, so that's kind of why I was fine with the switching from the phasing from Roar, basically. But she roars again after I went for like 2 crunches, I think. Now here, I decided to pop out this Ghostium Z. Now the reason why I did this was because seeing how this Avalugg was just walling the hell out of my Sharpedo and Crobat, and the fact that I have nothing that can switch in on this thing, because Avalanche hits Crobat and Golurk really hard, I didn't want this thing to be around for too long, because then it will just keep switching in, and a lot of my team is just on the physically offensive side, so it'll easily wall a lot of the stuff that I had. So I just had to pop this out, because I didn't think that Earthquake nor Fire Punch would be able to take it out. So here I'm just going to hard switch into Sharpedo, because she goes into the Marshadow now, and she's going to go for Spectral Thief. I didn't have any other switching other than Sharpedo. Like, Sharpedo's not a switching, but I felt like this was the only thing that I had to sack. As you can see, she got a crit with the Spectral Thief as well, so even if my Golurk were to survive that, I would have gotten critted. So even though I don't think it naturally survives it, but still, you know what I mean. Got critted, and that's kind of annoying. So here, I go into Bulu, because this thing is at full HP, and I figure I can take at least 1 Spectral Thief. I saw that it was Life Orb as well, so I didn't have to worry about it being Z move, which was my biggest concern with the Marshadow. She then hard switches into Skuntank here. I get a Hornleash off, which does under half, which forces me to switch out. and she's gonna go for crunch, predicting my switch into Armaldo. I went into Armaldo because I thought she would poison jab, because I did not want to take a poison jab on Bulu, because I would lose Bulu if I did. So here she's gonna go for another crunch. I had no switch-ins again. I have no switch-ins to a lot of her team. This Skuntank was also another thing I was afraid she'd bring, because it does answer my Golurk, it answers my Xatu, and it answers my Bronzong. So, and it hits Bulu really hard as well. Like, it answers a lot of my team, just like the Marshadow basically. So here I go for Thunderbolt because it's the only thing that can take a hit from that can hit the Skuntank really hard. But she ends up switching into Shaman, which does take it very well. Now here she stays in and reveals that she's Choice Scarf on the Shaman and goes for Psychic. She was predicting my Crobat to come in. And I decided to stay in to at least take one Seed Flare if she goes for it, which she didn't. And I just went for Signal Beam to at least get some chip on the Shaman, because I didn't want the Shaman to set up any substitutes. That was my biggest concern with this. That's why I went for Signal Beam in the first place. But now here she's going to switch out. Now here, because she locked herself into Psychic, I'm thinking she's probably going to want to switch out. So that's why I went for Volt Switch right here, going back into Tapu Bulu. Now here with Bulu, the god Bulu, I decided to go for Horn Leeches. I wanted to see if she protect or not. And afterwards, well, I think I just kept going for Horn Leeches, and the reason why was because I was kind of afraid she'd try to go for a Hyper Voice or something. Well, actually I did go for Wood Hammer the first time, because I wanted to see if she'd stay in, but she went for Protect, scouting my Wood Hammer. And now here I was afraid of her going back into the Marshadow, I think. So I went for Horn Leech again, and she goes for Hyper Voice, which does over half to my Bulu, despite that Sylveon taking the Horn Leech from Bulu, like not like nothing, but you know, it takes it better than I thought it would. But here she's gonna switch out the Sylveon. In all honesty, I wanted to go for Wood Hammer, but I was kind of afraid that she would try to I was afraid she'd survive the Wood Hammer nonetheless. But seeing how much it did with Horn Leech makes me feel like, you know, I should have probably just went for Wood Hammer, but I didn't do that. I go for another Horn Leech here, I believe, and it doesn't do a whole lot to Skuntank, which is why she keeps switching it in. I switch in the Crobat hoping she does not go for Crunch again, but thankfully she doesn't. She goes for Poison Jab this time. But here, I know for a fact she's not going to want to stay in all honesty. She's definitely going to go into her other switch into Crobat, which is the Ampharos, which is why, once again, here, I thankfully predict her to switch out into this dang Ampharos, and I actually go for another Super Fang again. Now, unfortunately, because she sent in Ampharos and not Mega Ampharos, she still does get the static on this damn thing, and she does manage to get it on my Crobat, which is something I needed to not be paralyzed, because that's exactly what I need to answer the Marshadow. So what I'm going to do here is instantly hard switch into Jolteon, hoping she does not go for Dragon Pulse here. And I'm going to pull off a Heal Bell right here. Now, as you're going to see here, as she Mega Evolves, I'm going to get the Heal Bell off, which will be good because my Crobat will no longer be paralyzed. But the bad news here is that she is now going to be free to just go for a Dragon Pulse here, crippling my Jolteon so that it can even well, it can come back to do at least one more thing, but if she is matched up with Marshadow, it just get priority attacked, and that's not good. Not that it matters anyways, because she does crit my Jolteon as well, which is really dang annoying, because if I'd survived that, I could have at least Volt Switched to get some chip on this thing, and then maybe go into Bulu again, but no. And then I could have gotten a free Wood Hammer off, but, you know, things don't just always go my way whatsoever. But here we go. I go for Golurk on the, after losing Jolteon, and I went for Phantom Force because I, for some reason, thought that I could just take out anything. Like, I didn't think anything would switch in, but I completely forgot that this damn Skuntank was still in the battle. And I have no switch-ins for this Skuntank, so I just had to hope she goes for Pursue. She does not go for Pursue, she goes for Crunch, and I lose Golurk like it's nothing. I go into Bulu here because at this point, I was actually convinced that this thing was Choice Banded, and it was. As you can see, she doesn't switch up her move to Poison Jab, so it was definitely banded. I had my suspicions when she first went for it on my Armaldo, the Crunch, but I wasn't sure if I was right on that or not, because I haven't seen the attack stat for Skuntank, so I wasn't even sure if that's the amount of damage it should normally be doing, or if it's Choice Banded or not. So after losing Golurk, I just figured, yeah, let's just YOLO it and see if he's banded or not, and then that's when I realized it was banded, so yeah. But anyways, here, she now goes into Marshadow, which is fine with me because she took 2 rounds of Life Orb damage, and this Horn Leech was thankfully enough to take it out. Because now that this Marshadow's gone, now Bulu can pretty much destroy the rest of her team. Because this Ampharos, or this Shaman, at first I thought it was going to go for air slashes on me, but turns out she doesn't. She actually ends up going for Healing Wish, and my guess is that she wants to fully restore the HP of Mega Ampharos so that it can be at full HP, because I did went for Super Fang on it earlier with Crobat. But that's not a big issue for me personally, because I do have the Nature's Madness for this thing. So even though she gets her HP back to full HP, or to full health basically, I'm still going to get this Nature's Madness of still being able to effectively cut her HP in half like I did with Crobat. Now here, she went for Cotton Guard, so I was thinking, okay, that's not a problem because I still have Leech Seed. And if I Leech Seed and Nature's Madness over and over again, I should be able to beat this this Ampharos one-on-one. However, check this out. I missed the Leech Seed. She then goes for Thunderbolt. She then gets the Paralysis, which, looking at that damage, I needed for those two things to not happen, missing the Leech Seed and then getting paralyzed, because she outspeeds me here with Thunderbolt, gets a freaking crit, which is bad, and then I just can't move whatsoever. So these 2 turns of RNG literally just threw any chance of me winning this battle out the window, which really sucks. And as you can see, I just ran because, yeah, that RNG was super painful. I was convinced that I would have beaten Mega Superior here had I gotten the freaking Leech Seed off, and then proceed to just go for Nature's Madnesses until she was weakened enough for me to finish her off with Wood Hammer. And her last Pokemon was Sylveon, which would have definitely gone down to a Wood Hammer from Bulu. She could protect all day, and things still goes down to Bulu. And even if it survives and she went for Hyper Voice, Crobat was still in the back to finish it off. But unfortunately, the RNG just kicked in like nothing. It's kind of embarrassing for me to have forfeited, just because this is just my first loss in the Valhalla League. But the problem was that I had a win streak going, and my goal to get the win, my goal for the league was actually for me to go at least undefeated until it got to Chase, because fun fact, Chase is currently 6-0 as well. So I was hoping to beat Mega, which I could have had the RNG not happened, and then face Chase with a 6-0 record and kind of emulate this. Yeah, because as you can see here, 6-Foot Hacks is actually 6-0, as well as Pokemon D here. They both faced in the P4G in week 7 with a 6-0 record. I was kind of trying to do the same thing here in the Valhalla League by getting a 6-0 win or 6-0 record before I face Chase, who is also 6-0, or who is currently 6-0, because I'm no longer 6-0 now. I lost this battle because of RNG, so now I have to advance to 5-1 basically. But like basically this battle really it really just disappointed me, because it crushed my dreams basically of trying to go 6-0 against Chase. But yeah, but let me tell you, the way this RNG proceeded was just horrible. It infuriated me so much that as soon as I finished narrating this battle is going straight to the dumpster, because honestly I don't want to have to remember this horrible moment. Like I said, it's only one loss, but this loss was just painful to watch, because this was a battle that I was supposed to win, despite all the disadvantage that I had with this team basically. And despite me being able to outplay my opponent, I still got RNG'd in the end, and it sucks. But oh well, what are you gonna do? Nonetheless, thank you all for watching week 6 of the Valhalla League. Stay tuned for week 7 where we face Chase, and I hope to catch you all there. But for now, just take it easy.